So here's the second half of our functional group video. We're taking a look at functional groups that have atoms other than oxygen in them. And the first up you can see is an amine. Amines have nitrogen attached to them. So they have obviously at least one carbon, but these hydrogens could also be carbons. So you're going to see that they have a little bit of a different name. Functional group is called an amine. It consists of a nitrogen bonded to at least one carbon. So here, if it's bonded to only one carbon, it's called a primary amine. Secondary amine is bonded to two carbons, and a tertiary amine, oh yeah, is called, has bonded to three carbons. Again, you don't have to be able to name amines, but here's some examples of how the names are derived. So we've got methylamine, ethylamine, diethylamine, so this is a secondary amine. Trimethylamine would be a tertiary amine. Aniline, benzylamine in there because these other four were with this document when I copied the photo. All right, so halocarbons have a halogen in them somewhere, at least one in place of the hydrogen. When you name them, this is the fifth group that you have to be able to name. When you name halocarbons, the halogen actually becomes a prefix with a number letting you know where it is located in the carbon chain. So here's a bunch of examples. So this one, I've got 4 carbons in the chain. Chlorine is on the first. Bromine is on the second. Remember, you always start numbering from the side where the functional groups are closest to. So 1 chloro, 2 bromo. Name-wise, it goes in alphabetical order. So bromine, followed by chlorine, followed by fluorine, followed by iodine. Here you have 2 iodopropane, 1 chlorobutane. So the number lets you know what carbon the halogen is on, and then you have a prefix of chloro, bromo, fluoro, or iodo. Thiols are the functional group that have a sulfur in them that I want you to be able to recognize. Again, you can have secondary or primary thiols, depending upon what this other bond is. It's called a thiol. Contains a sulfur bonded to an atom. If we were to name these, the word thiol gets attached to the end, but we're not going to worry about naming them, but you can see that thiol gets stuck on the end there. Okay, so somewhere there is an S, probably bonded to an H. There's not a whole lot of secondary thiols that you're going to see. Next up, and I think this is the last one, the phenyl group is really, if you remember from our molecular shapes and polarity lab, this guy, 6 carbons, 6 hydrogens, alternating double single bonds, is called benzene. Well, if benzene is attached to more carbons, it's called a phenyl. And so, like I said, phenyl groups are essentially a benzene ring attached to another carbon. So you have a bunch of different possibilities. 2-methyl-1-phenylpropene, diphenyl ether, 2-phenylheptane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the heptane. It's on the second carbon. Remember, we want these numbers to be as low as possible. 2-methyl-1-phenylpropene. Again, we want the numbers to be as low as possible. Phenylbromide, phenyl chloride. So you see phenyl groups double bonded. I'm sorry, not double bonded. The benzene type ring, alternating double single bonds. And I believe that is the last of the types of functional groups that you need to know. So just as a review, You need to be able to recognize and draw all the different functional groups that we discussed in these videos in the PowerPoint. You are going to need to be able to name the alcohols. So remember, alcohols get an OL on the end, ketones get an ONE on the end, aldehydes get an AL on the end, and carboxylic acids get an ic acid on the end. Halocarbons are the only ones that have prefixes, so the type of halogen gets a number and a prefix to let you know what carbons they are attached to. All right, good luck.